Hello, everyone. This is Heather Chesky, and I'm so glad that you guys are watching this today's live. I have another special treat for you today, another interview with an amazing photographer based in Virginia. You see Amy on the screen as well. Wave hi. But anyways, if you are a first-time watcher, thank you so much for watching this video. And if this is the first time you've heard of me, just to give you a little intro, my name is Heather Chesky. I've been a portrait photographer for 5 years now, well, full-time 5 years. I actually started when I lost my steady day job years ago. I had a young family at the time, and I had to find a way to bring in money and income pretty consistently to support my family. So I, started working my tail off, and I really dove in deep into marketing strategies that actually would make a difference and make me income and have impact. And I have been studying this for the past 5 years and doing a whole lot of things wrong and getting a few things right here and there. But I've learned how to grow my business to the point where I'm now making 3 times as much as I used to make at my old steady day job. And now I love coaching other photographers who are just getting started, who are, or maybe have been working their business for a couple of years now, but they're just kind of hitting a plateau and they really want to take it to the next level. One of the things that I focus in on my coaching and on with these Facebook Lives are, talking about marketing. Without fail, marketing is like one of the #1 issues that photographers struggle with. And it's just hard getting yourself out there and, you're trying everything and it feels like nothing is working. If you're like a lot of the photographers that I've talked to and even myself in the past, like you see other photographers doing something online and then you try to replicate it and everybody's trying to replicate something that they're not really sure if it's working, and it just ends up making you super frustrated and overwhelmed. So if you can relate to that, go ahead and let me know. But with all of that, I have figured out one of the best ways to market my studio, and I've been doing this for 5 years now in my studio, and that's with a model program. Now, if you have never heard of a model program, it is basically a year-long program where you're working with an exclusive group of clients for that entire year. They are all paying clients. Basically, you schedule fun photo shoots, fun events, just to kind of build that relationship with them and kind of spread the word about what you do in your photography. I photograph high school seniors, so that is the focus of my model program. And if you've heard of that term before, you've probably heard of it in terms of high school senior photographer or high school senior photographers, and it works great in that genre, but that's not the only place that it works. And I'm super excited to interview Amy today because she is actually a newborn photographer who has recently implemented a newborn model program and is having great success with it. So Amy, why don't you go ahead and give everybody a little bit of an intro about, who you are and kind of like what you do.
Okay. So I am Amy Yang, and as Heather said, I am a newborn photographer. I do primarily maternity, newborn, and children up to like age 1. I am located in Charlottesville, Virginia. And I have been doing this part-time for, about four years now. Yeah.
Awesome. And so Amy and I guess we started working together, 5 months ago?
I think so.
Was that about right? It was a good few months ago. But Amy, can you tell me a little bit more about your business before we started coaching together? Like, what was it like? What were you feeling in your business?
Yeah. So, I have been, I've done it all. So I've done the shoot and burn as you're starting out. I had already transferred into, doing in-person sales. I was liking the path that my business was taking, but I was having trouble, getting beyond what I had brought in, like having trouble finding additional new clients outside of what I had already brought in, or bringing in more than just 1 or possibly 2 new leads a month. So I felt like I had gone with what I personally knew how to do. I had pushed it as far as I could, and I was just needing somebody else who'd gone before me to kind of say, okay, next.
Right. And hitting that plateau is definitely normal. I definitely felt that myself in the first, I think it was like year two in my business where I felt like I could do all that I could do on my own. And I definitely needed to invest in my own business coaching and with another business coach to kind of get me to the next level. Now, Amy, when you were making the decision to coach with me, had you ever tried doing a model program before? Is that just kind of like a random idea you had, or have you tried implementing it and it just kind of wasn't working? Or tell me more about that.
No, I had never tried doing a model program before. In fact, because as you said, like you really only hear about it in the context of being a high school senior photographer. Like
Right.
nobody does it for anything, as far as I know, for
Right.
period. But there's so many other photographers trying to market to photographers, right? So each genre has their own group of people that are saying, if you want to be successful, these are the steps you have to do. You have to do X, Y, and Z. You have to go to every pediatrician's office in your town and get yourself on the wall. You have to go to every ultrasound clinic. You have to go to every OBGYN. You have to get a hospital display. These are things as newborn photographers that are pounded into you. Like, this is the only way to market. You have to do it. And you and I have known each other or of each other for several years now.
Right.
And you started your Facebook group, and I was like, well, I'm just going to check it out because I had seen great growth in your business, and I was just kind of curious, like, what was the catalyst that got you there? And then you had your model program webinar, which we had talked about in the group a little bit before the webinar, and just through our conversations in the group, my wheels started turning. There's got to be a way for this to cross over. So I wanted to hear the webinar, hear how you do it, and see if I could actually think of, like, would this actually translate and work?
Right.
When we talked about it after the webinar, and you were like, yeah, I think that we can make this work. And we set up our call to talk, and I was totally like, no, I'm not doing this coaching thing. Like, it's gonna be really expensive, and I'm just not doing that. I can do this on my own. But actually thinking that through, I was like, okay, hold on. Like, you actually need some help. Yeah. She's done this for several years. So it would be nice. Like, yeah, I could have tried to figure it out myself and fumbled around for probably several years before I actually got something together. But having that person that's done it before and has it laid out and has it, like a well-oiled machine
right
alongside you to create something that I'm essentially trying to create, not from scratch, but the idea is different. So I have to modify. That was just, once we talked about it, I was like, all right, we need to go.
Jump in. Yeah. And I'm glad you said that too, because a lot of photographers just get scared about investing in themselves. And I can say this because I was there when I hit that plateau a couple of years ago and I chose to invest in my first business coach. It was a big decision, and I probably waited on that decision for a good few months before I actually dove in. And the 5 months that followed, like during my coaching with my old business coach and that followed, like I had some of the highest grossing sales ever starting then. And so there's a lot to be said, like once you start investing in your business and once you can start learning from somebody who's already made all the mistakes and who will just basically give you a plan and a roadmap. So, okay, like here's what you need to do next. Don't worry about this. That's not important. Here's what you do at 1, 2, and 3. And Amy was such a wonderful person to work with because basically I would just say, okay, here are some things that work. And she's just like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll do it. And she just kind of went out there and did it. Didn't give much attention to the fear or the resistance she might have felt, but just did what needed to be done. And why don't you tell us about your model program now and what it looks like and what you have as a result of the coaching?
Yeah, so we did obviously create the model program, and I signed models 2 months ago. And so I've got models that are in various stages. So I've got 3 girls that are either were pregnant or 2 of them still are. Mm-hmm. And then I've got 2 girls that have older babies. No, sorry. I have 3 girls that are still pregnant, one that already had her baby, and then 2 girls with like 6 to 12-month-old babies.
Okay.
Kind of have the range. And in my program, I take it from maternity session all the way to the 1-year birthday. Or for the older girls, they're going to go from 6 months to 1.5 years.
Right.
So yeah, so when we talked, I was like, oh, maybe I can get like 2 or 3 people, and I ended up with 6.
Yay.
So fantastic.
Yeah.
People were really excited about it. I didn't know, like, can I get people on board? Will they see the value in doing this? Will they, want to commit to something that's that long?
Right.
But yeah, no, people were like, this is amazing.
Yeah, and it is amazing. I mean, and the more often that you do it, the better it will become. So it's going to grow from here. And one of the cool things about just marketing in general, like basically it's like this big random pie in the sky idea that you have to market your business. But when it comes to actually implementing it, so many people get stuck on the how to, but really all marketing is building a relationship with your client, building a relationship with your prospective clients, it's staying in touch with them. And that's the beauty of a model program, because it really forces you to kind of just be in touch with your clients, your models, month after month after month after month. And you really get to know them and their group of friends who you don't know yet really get to know you as like, oh, that's the person who's taking all of these amazing pictures of my friend and her cute little baby. And so your name spreads that way. And instead of just being the random photographer they randomly hired, you're like, oh no, this is my friend. She's an awesome person. We've hung out, 6-7 times now. So they're more likely to refer you because they now know you a lot more than just somebody they Googled online and did one session with and never saw ever again. So that's one of the things that I really love about model programs is just that you can build that relationship with your clients throughout the entire year. And it sounds like with my model program, I allow all like my graduated models to come back for any model sessions just because I still want to keep in touch with them. And that's definitely something that Amy can do when she does her model sessions. If she wants to, ever wants to photograph kids who are, older, she's going to have this whole pool of people to pull from that already know her, love her, invested in her. And it's a great way to just keep growing her business. Now, one of the things I would love to talk about now is just one of the, I guess the tenets of a model program is really being service minded and doing a charity or a community event. Would you share a little bit about yours?
Sure.
Well, I know we had talked about ideas. And so basically, if you don't know, with the model program, I actually have 7 steps that I kind of like teach people about how to create a year-long model program. One of those steps is really just focusing on a need in that age group, whatever age group you're working with, and really servicing them beyond just the picture taking part. In my business, if you haven't heard, like I really focus in on a self-defense class for my high school senior girls, because I believe every woman should know how to defend herself and should not be afraid when she goes off to college and, she's in a dark parking lot, and if something happens, I want her to know how to defend herself. So I host a free self-defense class. I take a stand against sexual violence and sexual assaults, and that is something that I do every single year. And with Amy, there's a whole lot of struggles that new moms go through. So why don't you share a little bit about what you're thinking about? I know you haven't had your event yet, but what you're thinking about doing this year.
Yeah, so part of my program was really putting the community together. A lot of what I hear from my clients after they have their babies is that they feel really isolated. They have trouble losing their baby weight, getting back in shape. They want to go out and be with friends, but maybe they're the first friend that's had a baby, and their other friends are kind of like, like once in a while, but so putting them all together, we are doing we're going to do like a post-baby exercise class together, and we're going to have a doula come in and talk to them about post-baby care. Some of these girls, it's their first babies. Some of them, it's their third baby. I think one of them, it's her fourth baby.
Oh, wow.
So while they, have had a baby before, the dynamics are different when there's three other kids running around. So just a lot about care. And then we're going to do a big event at the end we're going to go to a spa because that's what they said they wanted to do. So do a little about kids.
Yes. Those kid-free events are definitely something I think any mom would love. I know I would love that. But again, like with the model program, like what you're creating is you're creating a community. And one of the core basic needs of every single human being is to belong in some sort of community. And as these new moms are starting this whole new phase in life, they do lose a lot of their old friends who aren't pregnant or don't have kids and are just in a different season of life. I mean, I barely see some of my old friends who don't have kids and just aren't in that season of life. I mean, I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. We're doing, potty training and getting ready for school. And if I have a friend who doesn't yet have kids, it's very hard for us to relate or on that sort of thing. So it's great to have that community with other people who are in the same season of life as you're in, who are still struggling with, breastfeeding or, getting their kid to sleep through the night or losing that baby weight, where you're actually being the leader and the expert in this season of life and showing them and helping them how they can actually get what they want, really. And then also, giving them these photos that they'll treasure forever. So I think it's really great what you're doing, and I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
Well, just a few more questions. I would love to ask you, since you mentioned that, you were super hesitant about investing in coaching and just learning about a model program. So what would you share with someone who is kind of on the fence or teetering about either, investing in her own coach or in her own education, and also just doing a model program in her business? What are some, something encouraging you can leave with them?
Yeah. So, I think in the world of photographers, like I said, there's a lot of other photographers trying to sell to other photographers, and you just don't know what kind of quality is there. I think I found through the years of stuff that I bought that I was disappointed with or didn't meet my expectations, that I became kind of really jaded about buying these things again. And so a lot of that was at my heart of my hesitation. Like, is this going to be what she says it's going to be? Is it going to be that? And I would say absolutely 1000%. This is everything that she said it was. When she says she is totally transparent with you, she is absolutely transparent with you. Like, Heather doesn't hold anything back. I was creating brochures for my model program, and design is not one of my things. I don't have time to do it. Like, I have 4 kids myself, and 2 of them are 2-year-old twins that are here with me, most days of the week. And that's just not something I have time to do. So, Heather was like, hey, I have a template. Like, if it's easier, here you go. Just drop your pictures in, put your words in. And I would say that's not the case with a lot of other things I have invested in. It might be like, here's a screenshot of my thing, but you still have to build it yourself and you have to change all your wording. It's not, people aren't given like that. So that was wonderful. And, when we did our initial call, she told me, most people make back, if you follow my program and do what I asked you to do, people are making back what they invest before we're even finished. And I was like, yeah, right. Okay. Okay, I believe you. I totally didn't believe her.
But you made back.
But I made back way more.
Way more.
I spent, and I really did not think that was possible. So, I mean, I just want to say, like, this is a genuine thing. Even if Heather's not the right person for you to partner with, go out there, find somebody else that can come alongside you and grow your business, because it's not that you can't get there on your own. Like, I could have been on the struggle bus for another 5 years and maybe eventually got here on my own. But investing in Heather fast tracks that, you know what I mean? Like, in 5 months, I probably grew what I could do in 3 years.
Wow.
So, I mean, like, I move slow. I got a lot of kids over here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that was wonderful. So whoever you are considering investing in, or you find that your personality clicks with, or whatever, I would just say, do your research. I love that Heather does these videos because you can see the actual people that she has worked with and what we actually have to say. I'm not going to come on here and lie about it.
Right.
So finding reviews from people who have actually, gone through the program, and having it be different people,
Right.
Not just the same one plastered everywhere. So,
Right.
It's worth it. I mean, if there's an area of the business that you are failing at or falling short, and it's worth every penny of investment to get that on par to go forward.
To
So
take that a step further, I mean, I would even say, like, you as the individual watching this are worth whatever amount of money that you want to invest in your business or need to invest in your business. Like, your business is worth that amount. Your time is worth that amount, just to learn these strategies and kind of like have someone hold your hand and walk alongside that path where, it can be really lonely sometimes, because we don't have typical jobs. We're in, a cubicle with, a dozen other people in the same cubicle where we can, chat with all the time. This can be a very lonely road, and you're kind of guessing your way through it. And you don't have to guess when you invest wisely. And you can just really, what Amy, you said, fast track your success, really, which is so key, because, you said, you grew in 5 months, what may have taken you 3 years. And so that's years of your life that you couldn't have gotten back. And just imagine if you just, multiply what you've grossed the past 5 months over the course of the next 3 years, that's a lot of money. And of course, that's only going to grow because you're just going to get better as time goes on and as you have more experience. So that's just going to keep getting up there. So, if you're watching this live, I mean, thank you. Go ahead and post some questions. If you've thought of any questions, I would love to answer them. If you're curious about the model program marketing itself, I do have a freebie that you can go ahead and download. The link is in the comment section. So if you just go ahead and click on that hyperlink, you'll be emailed that checklist right away. Amy alluded to a webinar that I did earlier this year, and I haven't done it in months, but I'm actually going to be revamping it and doing it in the next couple of days. So if you also want to be notified on that, when the webinar is going to be, go ahead and also click that link to sign up, because basically the webinar, we're going to be walking through those 7 steps that I believe any model program needs to have to be successful. And that's regardless of whether you're a newborn photographer or a high school senior photographer like me. Like, these tenets are just, I mean, they're kind of like the foundation of the model program. So, the model program can look very differently in terms of your clientele or what type of shoots that you do. But if you're missing these 7 key elements, it might, wobble and not be as successful as it can be. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and click the link, sign up, and then I'll just notify you via email about when that webinar is. And so you can hop on and learn more about it. Amy, is there anything else that you would like to share before we sign off?
I just would say, sign up for the webinar for sure. She does actually go into detail about all of these steps. It's not like a bait and switch thing. She's very open in this webinar. There's tons of good information. And like I said, like it can cross to so many things. Like, as we were talking, I'm thinking like, oh yeah, you could totally do this as a family photographer, sign a few families and do different theme shoots with them. One of the great things about the model program is that these model shoots are what I want them to be. So I can be more creative. I can do an idea that I've had for 3 years that I haven't found a client that I wanted to do, You could do that with families. Also, you could do it with older children. It really does across the board. So sign up for the webinar, regardless of what you do. And think, how can I apply this to my business?
Yes. That is awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, thank you for those of you who are watching the replay live. Thank you. Go ahead and click that heart icon or that like button a couple of times because Facebook really likes that for some reason. And then leave any questions that you might have. I'd be happy to answer those. And then definitely go ahead and get your freebie. You'll get that 7 tips to, a successful model program, delivered right to your inbox. And then you'll learn, or you'll be notified about when the next webinar is going to be. But anyways, I hope you guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll chat with you guys later. Thank you so much, Amy, for doing this interview too. I appreciate it. All right. Bye, guys.